A trade between the New York Knicks and the Portland Trail Blazers for Malcolm Brogdon is imminent, and we have to talk about it. So what's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. My name is Chris, and we're going to jump right into the video. But make sure you're not missing any of these updates. 15% of our viewers are subscribed. You don't want to miss any Knicks news, rumors, reactions, post-games. We're talking about it all, so you don't want to miss it. But the big news here is that the New York Knicks are in advanced talks on a trade that would send Malcolm Brogdon to New York. Now, first of all, thank you. Thank you, Leon Rose. Do not let this team just play out the season with one guy who can create his own shot. We lost RJ and Quickly, our second and third best shot creators. We need another one. I just jumped out of my chair to say that. And now I need to find myself, really just collect myself right there. But please get this deal done. I am begging you. This would be huge for the Knicks. Brogdon is the reigning sixth man of the year. Runner-up was Emmanuel Quickly. One of the best parts about the Knicks is how good that their bench was last season and going into this season. However, once they traded Quickly away and once Mitchell Robinson went down with that injury, the bench got a lot weaker. Instead of having a bench of Emmanuel Quickly, Josh Hart, at first Dante DiVincenzo, but then Quentin Grimes and Isaiah Hartenstein. Now the Knicks have a bench of Josh Hart, Precious Achiuwa, Quentin Grimes, and Deuce McBride. Is it a bad bench? No, there's much worse in the NBA, but it's not great. You can go out there and you can get a guy like Malcolm Brogdon, get someone who can create his own shot, create for others, sort of just run the floor well, and basically just make the Knicks that bench that they need to have like last season, because the starting lineup is amazing. Jalen Brunson, Dante DiVincenzo, OG Anunoby, Julius Randle, Isaiah Hartenstein is an elite starting five. It's one of the best starting fives in the NBA. They're so well-rounded. They can score, they can defend, they can do it all. The only thing is, the bench can't do much. And if you get Brogdon, you could, first of all, you could sit Jalen Brunson more, so Brunson's not going to get burnt out. But you can also, you could just play someone off the bench 30 minutes a night who can shoot, who can facilitate, who can defend well. Brogdon is the perfect player for this team because he's well-rounded. He gives the Knicks what they need, and then he's got a contract that you can flip for a star player. I mean, look. Did he not just get flipped for a star player? Did he not just get traded for Drew Holiday last offseason? Now the Knicks can go in to the offseason, find the disgruntled star, who's an all-NBA level player who Woj has talked about, and then you're good to go. You got the guy, you got the draft capital, because here's the deal. Terry Rozier recently got traded to the Miami Heat for a 2027 first-round pick and Kyle Lowry, as well as reported. A lot of y'all have probably seen that by now. I doubt I'm breaking that news. But that's not that much for Terry Rozier. He's putting up 24 and 7. Brogdon's not putting up 24 and 7. So the Knicks are probably not going to give up that much. Because of that, now we're looking at certainly Evan Fournier, and probably an expire, or probably a few seconds, maybe a protected first, and that's about it. The trade market has been reset since the Rudy Gobert trade, and because of that, the Knicks are going to be able to make a great trade for Malcolm Brogdon, barring that he stays healthy, of course. Now, what Ian Begley reported recently is that there haven't been any significant trade discussions involving Brogdon and the Blazers as of late last week. So clearly this is new. This is a new moment for the Knicks. This is definitely something that has just came up. They've been in contact because it's just not significant discussions. Now it feels like those significant discussions have begun. The trade deadline is in 15 days from now, and basically the Knicks are going to need to do something. The only news that we know is that the Knicks were going to make a trade. We now know that Brogdon was at the head of it, and now we know that there are significant trade discussions for Malcolm Brogdon to come to New York. On the season, Malcolm Brogdon's averaging 15.5 points per game. With 3.5 rebounds and 5 assists while shooting 44% from the field and 42% from three. He's shooting 80% from the free throw line and has a 17.7 PER with 2.2 win shares, despite being on the Portland Trail Blazers, who are one of the worst teams in the NBA this season. So it's a good sign for the Knicks. I mean, you're getting a guy who's efficient. You're getting a guy with a lot of playoff experience. He was a game away from being in the NBA Finals last year. You're getting players with experience. OG has experience. Brunson has experience. Malcolm Brogdon has experience. Isaiah Hartenstein has experience. The Knicks have an experienced roster now that still isn't that old, and they're getting to do great things with it. For instance, now, when you go into the playoffs, you're going to have a more fresh Jalen Brunson because Malcolm Brogdon is going to take so much pressure off of him. That is important because that means Brunson will be able to play 44 minutes a night when it matters instead of just randomly in the regular season because the Knicks are short on facilitating and scoring in the backcourt without him. I mean, no one else in the backcourt really can score that well besides DiVincenzo, but he starts. He doesn't play as much minutes anyway. He's the starter who plays the least amount of minutes. But we know the Knicks starters are being overworked, and part of that is just because Brunson's there, and then they end up just playing the whole starting lineup. If you get Malcolm Brogdon, he can create for that bench. I don't think Grimes is getting traded in a Malcolm Brogdon deal. I'm almost positive that he's not going to. And if you can keep Grimes, then you have Brogdon who can create for Quentin Grimes. He can create for Josh Hart. He can try to run some pick and rolls with Precious Achiuwa. Maybe the Knicks still try to dangle Grimes, replace Grimes in the rotation with Deuce McBride. I know McBride's in the rotation more than Grimes, but in my mind, Brogdon right now would be taking McBride's minutes. But I still do think the Knicks are going to trade Grimes in some capacity. Maybe they trade him for a big man who can play out the rest of the season in New York. But also, I don't think that's a great idea to trade Grimes for someone who, is just going to be a rental almost. I don't think that makes a ton of sense. But whatever the Knicks do, one thing is evidently clear. With Malcolm Brogdon, everything that they'll try to do will be much easier because he's just a consummate pro. You're getting a guy who's 31 years old, who's been on a bunch of great NBA teams in the past. And I think he's just the perfect fit for this Knicks team. I've said it for a while. I've wanted Malcolm Brogdon for weeks. So hopefully they get this one done. And as NBA Trade Report put out, the Knicks are still in talks on a handful of players, but Brogdon is the top priority. So even if the Knicks trade for Malcolm Brogdon, that might mean they're still not done. There will be more to come, and we are going to cover it on Knicks Digest. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Make sure you like this video. Comment down below what you think on this news that it feels like a Brogdon trade is imminent at this point. We are in advanced talks with the Trailblazers to land the reigning sixth man of the year. Once upon a time, the rookie of the year. Great player, perfect fit for the Knicks. And he's part of Clutch Sports, so it'll definitely be interesting to see how this all plays out, but it feels as if Clutch will be kind of lenient on it. So, things are working out for the Knicks right now, so you don't want to miss any of our content. So subscribe, do it. If you still haven't done it, come on, I'm waiting. Have a good day, and go Knicks.